Hello, akkam jirtu barattoota nagaa keessanii? Har'as deebi'ee dhufeera barnoota histirii kutaa 11ffaa boqonnaa 4 keessaa gaaffii ajaa'iba ta'an akkan hojjechaa jiru samoona kana argitaniittu. Har'as immoo gaaffii baay'ee ajaa'ibaa fi isin qopheessuu danda'u qabadhee isiniif dhiyaadheera. Wabii 17 official tube wajjin ta'uudhaan qayyabannaa keessan fiixeedhaan akka geessan gamanumaan isin affeera. Today we are going to discuss about the fall of the Western Roman Empire and the dawn of the Middle Ages and the Eastern Roman Byzantine Empire. The Eastern Roman or the Byzantine Empire. Question number 1. Which factor most directly weakened Western Roman Empire before Germanic invention? Weerara Germaniin dura Empire Roma lixaa kan kallattiidhaan dadhabsaa ture kanneen armaan gadii keessaa kami? A. The immediate collapse caused by the Huns. B. Separation from the wealthier Eastern Roman Empire. C. Conversion of Romans to Christianity. D. Excessive agricultural production. The major cause weakened the Western Roman Empire before the invention of German was the separation of Western Roman from the wealthier Eastern Roman Empire. So B is the correct answer. After 395 AD, the Western Empire lost access to the wealthy population and administrative strength of the East, this making it vulnerable. Roman duromtu irra fotoqun Roman lixa akka empire dadhabduu taatuudhaaf taasiseera jechuudha. Kanaaf deebii kan ta'u caala. Why A is wrong? Because the Han triggered migrations, but the Roman decline had already begun internally. While C is also not the answer because Christianity provided unity rather than the political weakness. Okay, what C says, conversion of Romans to Christianity, it says no. Okay, hagafe yo warri Roma gara Christianumatti jiramanillee Christianitiin maal godha ni cimsa malee isaan hin dadhabsu jechuudha. Why D is not? Because agricultural production declined instead of increasing. But D says that excessive agricultural production. No, the decline of agricultural production was another cause. Question number 2. Why did Germanic tribes begin to invade Roman territory in the 15th century AD? Kanneen armaan gadii keessa sababni lammiileen German jaarraa shanaffaa keessa daangaa Roomaa akka weeraranii isaan taasise kami? A. They wanted to destroy Roman civilization. B. They were escaping attack from the Huns. C. They were invited by Roman emperors. D. They rejected Christianity. The pressure from the Huns forced Germanic peoples to move into Roman lands. So, escaping attacks from the Hun was the major factor why German tribes began to invade Roman territory in the 15th century. B is the correct answer. Why A is not? Because many Germanic tribes admired and adopted Roman culture. But A says that they wanted to destroy Roman civilization. No. Why C is not? Because the invention were forced movements, not invitation. Weerara malee affeeraadhaan kan ta'e miti kanaaf caandee min ta'u jechuudha. D. Since several Germanic tribes had already accepted Christianity, so it is not the answer, not rejecting Christianity. Question number 3. Which event symbolically marks the fall of Western Roman Empire? Mallattoo kufaatii Roomaa lixaa kan ta'e kanneen armaan gadii keessaa kami? A. The division of the empire in 395 AD. B. The Visigoths' invasion of Spain. C. The capture of Rome by Germanic tribes in 476 AD. D. The rise of the Byzantine Empire. Good. Since 476 AD marks the end of the imperial rule in the West, so the capture of Rome by Germanic tribes was the symbolical event that marks the fall of the Western Roman Empire. C is the correct answer. A is incorrect because the division of the empire in 395 AD weakened Rome but did not end it. Okay. B is also incorrect because the Visigoths' invasion of Spain affect only part of the empire, not all in all. D is also incorrect. Why? Because the Byzantine Empire continued independently. So the rise of the Byzantine Empire is not. Question number 4. One major economic result of the Germanic invention was that bu'aa dinagdee weerara Germanii kan ta'e kanneen armaan gadii keessaa kami? A. Trade expanded rapidly. B. Urban centers flourished. C. People moved from towns to rural areas. D. Roman industries became stronger. People moved from town to rural areas was the major economic result of Germanic invention. Okay, because insecurity forced people to depend on agriculture in rural areas. Ega weerarri German Roma irratti taasise hawaas dinagdee Roma akka inni kufu taasisuu danda'eera. Sababni isaas uummanni sababa nageenyaadhaaf jecha gara baadiyyaatti akka godaanee qonna qofa irratti akka hirkatu taasise waan ta'eedhaaf jechuudha. Why A is not the answer? Because trade networks was collapsed, so not expanded rapidly. B is wrong because many towns were declined or disappeared, but urban centers flourished, it says. Wrong. Why D? Because industrial activity declined sharply, but D says that Roman industries become stronger. No, they were weakened. Question number 5. Why was the Roman Christian Church crucial after the fall of the Western Roman Empire? Manni Kiristaanaa Roomaa kufaatii Roomaa lixaa booda barbaachisaa kan inni ta'ee fi kanneen armaan gadii keessaa A. It eliminated all local governments. B. It replaced agriculture with trade. C. It provided leadership and social services. D. It abolished Roman law. Why Roman Christian Church was crucial after the fall of the Western Roman Empire was that the church maintained order, education, charity, and administration. So, providing leadership and social service was the major importance of Christian Church after the fall of Western Roman Empire. Question number 6. Why did the Eastern Roman, the Byzantine Empire, survive longer than the Western Empire? Roma lixaa caalaa Roman bahaa yookaan Byzantine dandamannaa yeroo dheeraa akka qabaattu wanti ishee taasise maali? A. It rejected Roman traditions. No. B. It was geographically protected and economically stronger. C. It avoided Christianity. No. D. It had fewer enemies. No. So, B is the correct answer. Eastern Roman was geographically protected and economically stronger. There was wealthy, defensive cities and favorable geography that protecting the empire. Question number 7. Which statement best describes the power of Byzantine Empire? Kanneen armaan gaditti eeraman keessa himni aangoo Empire Byzantine ibsu kami? A. The emperor shared authority equally with nobles. B. The emperor ruled only military affairs. C. The emperor was the absolute ruler and lawmaker. D. The emperor was controlled by the pope. The correct answer is C. The emperor was the absolute ruler and lawmaker. This statement best describes the power of the Byzantine Empire. Why? Because the emperor exercised absolute authority. A is incorrect because the emperor does not share equally authority with nobles. Power was centralized. Again, B is incorrect because the emperor ruled civil, military, and religious matters, not only military affairs. D is not incorrect because the emperor was controlled by the pope. It says no, the pope had no authority in Byzantium. Question number 8. The Justinian Code is historically important because gaaffii kana hojjedheera deebii isaa garuu isin mee kam ta'a? A. Created new religious laws. B. Destroyed earlier Roman laws. C. Preserved and organized Roman legal principles. D. Applied only to Byzantium. In fact, the Justinian Code influenced modern legal system worldwide. So, preserving and organized Roman legal principle is the major influence of Justinian codes. Question number 9. What was the long-term cultural role of the Byzantine Empire in Europe? A. Ending Greek learning. B. Isolating Europe from Asia. C. Preserving classical knowledge. D. Destroying Roman customs. Gaheen warra Byzantine yookaan Roman bahaa Awurooppaa keessatti yeroo dheeraadhaaf qabaachaa turani kamidhaadha gaaffichi. So, preserving classical knowledge was the major long-term cultural role of Byzantine Empire in Europe, since ancient learning was passed to later Europe. A is not the answer because Greek philosophy was preserved, not ended. Again, B is wrong because Byzantium was a trade bridge, but it says isolating Europe from Asia. No. D is not the answer because Roman traditions were continued, but D says that destroying Roman customs. Wrong. Question number 10. Which event directly marked the final collapse of the Byzantine Empire? Ta'in kufaatii Roman bahaa agarsiisuudhaaf kanneen armaan gadii keessatti oolu kami? A. Battle of Manzikert. B. The Crusades. C. Ottoman conquest of Constantinople in 1453. D. The church schism of 1054. Excellent. The Ottoman capture ended Byzantine rule. So, Ottoman conquest of Constantinople in 1453 was the event that directly marked the final collapse of the Byzantine Empire. A is incorrect because the Battle of Manzikert weakened but did not end the empire. B is also incorrect because Crusaders failed to save Byzantium. D is also incorrect. Why? Because schism was religious, not political. Question number 11. Which Germanic tribe was responsible for setting in Britain during the decline of Roman authority? Yeroo kufaatii aangoo Roman gosni warra Germanii Britain keessatti qubate kanneen armaan gadii keessaa kami? A. Visigoths. B. Franks. C. Ostrogoths. D. Angles, Jutes, and Saxons. Gaaffii ajaa'ibaati barattoota. Intiraansii keessan irratti ni dhufa. Faayinaalii keessan irrattis akka dhufu abdiin qaba. Moodela keessan Oromiyaan samoona isin qoruu deemuudhaafis akka isin gargaaru gaaffii kanarraa shakkiin qabu. So, the correct answer, Angles, Jutes, and the Saxons settled in Britain around at 450 AD. A is wrong because Visigoths invaded Spain, not Britain. Visigoths warreennu Spain weeraran malee Britain hin turre. Kanaaf een deebiin ta'u jechuudha. B is wrong because Franks settled in Gaul, which is known as the modern France. So, is wrong again. C is not the correct answer because Ostrogoths invaded Italy, not Britain. Question number 12. Which development best explains why Roman towns declined after the fall of the Western Roman Empire? Magaalonni Roomaa kufaatii Empire Roomaa lixaa booda akka kufan himni armaan gadii sirriitti ibsu kami? A. Increased agricultural productivity. B. Destruction of trade networks. C. Expansion of sea trade. D. Growth of imperial bureaucracy. Invention destroyed roads and the trade routes that supported towns. This development best explains why Roman towns are declined after the fall of the Western Roman Empire. Kufaatii Empire Roomaa lixaa booda barbadaa'uun daandii adda cituun sarara daldalaa magaalonni akkasaan barbadaa'aniidhaaf sababa ta'eera jechuudha. So B is the correct answer. Why A is wrong? Because productivity did not increase. Rather, it becomes decreased. C is not the answer because trade declined rather than expanded again. The imperial administration was collapsed rather than that of growth. Question number 13. Why did the Romans refer to the Germanic people as barbarians? Romanonni ummata Germaniin barbarian maaliif jedhaniini? A. They were uncivilized nomads. B. They rejected all Roman cultures. C. They were organized into tribal systems. D. They spoke Greek. The answer is C. Why Germanic peoples are said barbarians by the Roman was they lived under the tribal leadership rather than Roman law. Question number 40. Which factor most weakened Roman military defense in the 15th century? Jaarraa shanaffaa keessa raayyaa ittisa Roomaa akka dadhabu sababni taasise kanneen armaan gadii keessaa kami? A. Overpopulation of cities. B. Decline of central authority and overstretched borders. D. Excessive naval warfare.